You're listening to WooSox Insider, presented by your Worcester Red Sox.
What is up, everybody? Dave here today. Happy Monday morning. And this episode will serve as the final episode of Season 1 for WooSox Insider. Today's episode is a best of moments compilation of the in-season episodes for WooSox Insider. And in the coming weeks, we will be starting up Season 2, where we have so much cool stuff prepared for you guys. I promise you're not ready. It's going to be great. We're going to be taking a step up. Why? Because that's WooSox Productions, baby. But hope you guys enjoy the video. And speaking for TQ and Decaf, I'm sure all of us would like to say thank you for showing your support throughout this season, whether you listened, watched, saw one of the Instagram posts, or on any other kind of social network, or just support the team. Thank you for being a fan, and thank you all for an amazing 2022. Dave out.
Opening week happened. It was crazy. We fell behind, but we're back this week with two of our broadcasters, Tyler Murray and Jim Kane. Fellas, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, man. It's been, the phrase living the dream's thrown out a lot, but being here with you guys on the WooSox Insider podcast, life goal realized. So thank you.
I thought living the dream was being in Syracuse, New York, but the podcast tops that, I guess, right?
When Chris is showing his grandkids this podcast, they're going to be wondering, what the heck is he talking about?
Like, what did you do with your life, Grandpa?
Yeah, the broadcast team last year, they were telling me, and Jim especially, like, we're lucky to come to Polar Park every day. Sounded like a cliche at first, but I'm fully on board. It is a place we are fortunate to spend our working days in.
How much of that is just the coffee being delivered to you that is making you speak such high praise?
About 60 to 70% is the coffee.
Gotcha. Okay.
But other than that, yeah, the rest of it just fills in great.
I also want to echo the sentiment of how incredible of a job Brooke Cooper did, because she set up a lot of structure in the offseason that never existed before. And it would have been easy to set up that structure and then come opening day when the events are starting to happen to kind of sit back and say, all right, let me see how this is going to go, because ideally the foundation is there and everyone should be set up for success. But to have her going out of her way at the same time to help out in any possible way she can, and then jump in and stage manage, which she had never done before, and do an incredible job of it, just speaks volumes on her hard work and dedication. And she's the best. She's Dylan and my boss, so it's easy for us to say that too. But she's very
really great boss who gives out really great bonuses to her favorite productions workers.
So Jim, Tyler said his top two holiday characters, Santa Claus and leprechauns. What are your top two?
Well, Santa Claus is number one. I think there's a pretty large gap between 1 and 2. I think, not necessarily now, but as a kid growing up, Tooth Fairy's kind of cool. You think about it, you get free money as a kid. That's not a bad concept. So
not a bad gig.
But as a fellow Irishman myself, I would put the leprechaun a close third, and then probably the Easter Bunny fourth.
Gotcha.
Kids nowadays get like $20 from the Tooth Fairy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but my daughter came home from school and she's like, oh, my friend Emma got like $25. And I'm like,
goodness.
That Tooth Fairy does not visit this house. Okay. That Tooth Fairy stays at Emma's house, not here.
How many pies do you think you could put down? This goes for both of you. How many pies do you think you could put down on any given day? And then after running 3 miles?
Table talk pies or like
Table talk pies.
Okay.
America's favorite pie. Yeah.
How much time though? Like how much time do we have to consume the pies?
I think all day. I think just how many pies could you eat in a day?
That's a
in a day? Maybe like 50. I don't know.
All right. A meal. One meal.
In one sitting, I could eat 12.
12?
Maybe more.
What if you have an hour? That wasn't 12 to say. I think it would be higher. That was
That was just me asking 12 because I feel like 12 is a lot. You're telling me you're eating a dozen table talk pies in one sitting?
In truth, I've only eaten a handful of table talk pies, but I can eat, man. We already talked about the hot dog eating contest, me and Dave, and I mean, I'll put down however many I need to. If I'm doing it next to Dave, I can certainly push it into like 2 dozen or 3 dozen if I'm trying to beat that guy.
You have a competitive spirit. That's why. Dave, how many are you putting down in one sitting?
I don't know, because I'm not the biggest fan of pie to begin with, and I feel like that's just a lot of pie crust after a while. That's just like
so killer.
I feel like I could get
8
down probably in a sitting.
I'm a big crust person. I like breakfast pastries and stuff too. I like the crust. I think the filling is what would do me in. But if we're talking a table talk chocolatey Eclair pie,
I've never had that.
Dave, you gotta get one.
Because
I think I could eat 20 chocolate eclair pies in one sitting. They're delicious. They're so good.
Let me tell you, you do unlock some kind of power, and this is just 2 more quick things before we get into baseball. You do unlock some kind of power when you exercise that much before you eat that much. In high school, I tried to eat 100 chicken McNuggets in one sitting, and before I did, I ran 4 miles. I ran 4 miles and then went to McDonald's, and I got 73 down. So didn't get to 100, but I did put down 4,000 calories. And I feel like, a dozen table talk pies might add up to 4,000 calories? Am I undershooting it, overshooting it? That feels about right.
73? Everybody, Cooper is in the waiting room. Here he is.
Oh, let's bring Coop in.
Cooper.
Man, what is it with WooSox broadcasters big timing us, showing up late whenever they feel like it? Oh wow, he's on mute too. He's
wasn't
having
prepared.
a tough day. Now he's unmuted. Let's see if his mic works.
Consider me embarrassed.
Still waiting on my lineups, Cooper.
What a great introduction for you on the WooSox Insider podcast.
Speaking of stand-ups, what do you think in all of your time doing some sideline reporting here with the WooSox? What's your favorite stand-up that you've ever done?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
I can think of favorite moment right off the bat. Thank you. You're shameless. You know
that? shameless, vain, whatever you want to call it.
No, my favorite. No. I think the answer that came to mind immediately was Christian Arroyo when he was on rehab. And he had that whole thing where he had been sent to Worcester on rehab and he just could not say the name of the city. Worcester. He said it 3 times. None of them were close. It was really bad. And so it was the end of the week and he had gotten a couple of singles. So we after the game, we bring him down and I'm like, dude, do you know how to pronounce Worcester yet? And he had no idea. And so I proceeded to teach him how to say Worcester on the air. Do I know if he knows how to say Worcester now? No clue, but in the moment he did. So I think that was my favorite, spelling class with Cooper. So, Franchi, basically, the first thing about him is if you don't know him or what, he is the happiest man on the face of the earth. He's always smiling. 0 for 4, 5 for 5. Does not matter. Same guy every single moment. It's awesome. And so for him, he is basically, if he's on camera, he is looking for every opportunity to make a joke or mess with you or whatever it is. He's the dude when you're doing the interview with somebody else that's throwing double bubble at your head. That's what this is. Or when I'm standing, we stand in this little pit when we're doing our reports next to the dugout, and I'll be doing the hit and I'll just hear out of the corner of my out of my ear ah, and I know it's fine. That's what it is. And so every time we have him for a post-game interview, when it's 5 for 5, he is basically doing everything in his power to make jokes or whatever it is. And anyway, what TQ is referring to there at the end is every single time without fail, he turns to me and he goes, "Thank you, Poppy." And I go, "Gracias, Franchi." And that's how it's beautiful. It's been a beautiful friendship blossoming between us, really. I'm sad to see him go. I mean, it's good for him, but.
2, I think we're on an unfair playing field here, TQ, because you've got the lighting, the press box, the condensed microphone, the new haircut, and I'm coming microphone that's rigged up because my computer's in the shop. So I feel like I'm sitting across from you, but you're the chair that's like, 3 feet higher in the interview process.
I'll give you the lighting. I'll give you the lighting and the microphone and the broadcast booth, but I can't give you the hair, Jay, because yeah, even after all of the minor league experience, all the baseball broadcasting experience, that hair does not quit. Are you kidding me?
It's my best attribute. It has gotten me this far in life, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I remember seeing you annually with Slugger getting pied in the face, and Slugger doesn't hold back. There's a lot of force behind that pie.
Yeah, I the older you get, it's not being bored. It's just that you want to do things that make you nervous. I think that's important. And when I started doing these skits with the mascot, it was the adrenaline. We wrote this skit. The pie thing was a collaborative thing. He's like, I want a pie in the face. How do we do this? And I said, we got to do some WWE angle, because I love that, where they come out, cut the music. How do we do that? And I just jokingly said, it'd be cool if I came out and started ripping you and people booed. And he just, and it was over. He wrote it. I went out there and was just killing them. People were booing me, and I loved it. It was great. And then he smoked me, though. I mean, that was, you can ask our trainer now, Scott Gallen, who was in the dugout. Like, a bunch of people were texting me, and I mean, he really, really smoked me good. Like, at first I thought I might be concussed, but we did so many like goofy things.
You guys are always having fun in the booth. You can hear it. It's infectious. It makes all the listeners have fun. And Jay, you have one of my favorite moments of our TV broadcast so far this year from the radio booth. There was a long game, and I actually have them right next to me.
Oh, geez.
Jay, you made fat heads.
I did, yeah.
Of all of the broadcasters. So here's
tax
Mike,
deductible.
obviously. Yeah, that's an expense.
It's good I shaved for that.
Yeah, the Jim Kane's my favorite because he sent me like the actual beauty headshot, like the past photo that you would have. But when you see the ballpark and how it's built and how awesome it is, and Mike and I are talking ad nauseum. Yeah, Tyler's a little more low quality on the production side there. I need a TQ one. I need a Dylan one. It's in the works.
We were talking about how humble Mike Antonellis is. You bought these, and yours is missing.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
The only thing I hope doesn't get brought over in all the advanced analytics is not leaving Blake Snell on the mound, but everything else can translate. I'll take the rest of it.
That's probably, he's a big MLB The Show guy too, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Snellzilla on Twitch, I believe.
Do you want to shout out your Twitch, Mike?
Yeah, behind the mic. Follow.
Oh, yeah. So, Ben, you are originally from Rhode Island.
Yep.
You were the voice at McCoy Stadium for quite a while. Can you talk about kind of being from Rhode Island, working at McCoy, seeing people around there, and what it was like to transition into moving into a new state and city that you really might not have been so familiar with?
Sure. So I grew up until I was 10 years old. We lived in Pawtucket, my mom, my dad, and my sisters, until I was 10 years old. We lived actually less than a mile from McCoy Stadium, which was pretty cool because, my dad would come home. He was a farmer, so he would come home, and, some nights we would eat supper, and he's like, hey, let's go down to McCoy, and, we'll have, take in a few innings of the game and stuff. And my grandfather, my uncles, we would always go there. So that was pretty cool being able to go there. And then we moved a little further away in Warren, Rhode Island, where I live now. And through just different professional relationships that I had developed over the years, I'd become familiar with the organization. And in 2012, I got a phone call. I was sitting at my desk at Carty's Furniture where I worked at the time. I was sitting in my office, and I got a call from Michael Gwynn saying, hey, there's been a little situation. If you can be here in 30 minutes, you're the public address announcer tonight. I made it there in 25. And right into, I literally sat down.
You got 5 minutes to prepare.
Exactly. It was literally I sat down, they said, "We'll get you food later. Start reading these words now." And it was and just like it is most nights now, it's a cold read every time. So it was fun. And
my favorite improv moment was when we were doing the Pies in the Sky promotion last year, and the cannon shot the ball over the net into the visitors bullpen, and when the opposing visitors pitcher caught the ball to win the ballpark pies, you ran with it. You broke the rules, but you got everyone pies.
I think the line might have been, "That counts." And then said everybody gets pies.
And also, if you come into the workplace, happy and try to, spread that positivity, can help make the room positive, because, guys like TQ and Decaf, they're here dawn to dusk. Last thing they want is someone to come in at 4 p.m. who was sleeping all day to already be a grouch the second they clock in, so it's best to try and have a smiling face and just enjoy what we're doing. Because I started when I was 16 and all my friends were working at like McDonald's and grocery stores. Man, I still think I have like the best job in the world. I love every single day I come here. So I think a lot of it too has to do with your attitude and enthusiasm towards it.
And we love having you every single day, Dave.
Yeah, and it's amazing, Dave, because many people don't know this now, that you're also you're kind of switching roles too. You're running, in the pregame, you're doing our RF camera. That's the wireless camera that you see to capture our pregame ceremonies. People don't even realize that. You've got a doctorate in astrophysics, so it's like, for you to do this is really very humble of you, and we're very proud of you, Dave, as are the people at the group home.
Yeah,
Josh. Alchemy.
You went Star Wars. I was gonna go.
That's
the
Daniel
one
Jones.
constant throughout all time is baseball.
That's it.
But
I'll say so.
Just
That job fair is such a blur to me. We talked to so many great people that day, great people that now work here, many of whom, because we hired them from the job fair. Eric Olofsson, if you're listening, I apologize. I interviewed him at that job fair, and I don't even think I even gave him a call back, and he got hired in another department, and now he's our proud WooSox drummer and helps out with our events and pretty much everything we do here.
Our short king.
Eric is the best. Eric, sweet Eric, as we call him.
They're hesitant because you walk into that control room and you see a million colored lights and you see buttons, you see TVs, you see servers, and you just go, well, how could one person know any of this or all of this or whatever? And the real thing is, there's one person who knows all of it. His name's Josh, and he's an engineer. and and the rest of us have like, I would say a surface knowledge of everything in the room, or at least close to it. And then, it goes deeper with a lot of other people, but we're teaching each other. We're learning from each other. We're like, every single game, someone's learning something new. And there's pressure situations, but I think it's cool because you get to see how people react under pressure. And then you get to also look outside and you get to see the fans as we're freaking out in the control room. They're outside laughing, having a good time. They notice none of our mistakes, but all of us on the inside are like, oh no, we got to make it right. So it's cool seeing the difference. And you see people when you walk out of the park, they're all laughing, having a good time, talking about like what their favorite moment was. The team could have lost by 10, but they're coming out of there having a great time. And you had a part in that. So it's pretty cool.
What's your favorite moment of like when you got a reaction from the crowd? Be it like you're just like going with like a grand slam that everyone's already cheering, or like it's a dead moment, but you get the crowd to give a laugh for something during a rain delay game. What comes to mind?
Oh, Lexi, we had one.
It was the first time we did the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme
song,
and the whole crowd just laughed.
Yeah, because it was
laughter came out after an error.
Yeah, Rochester made an error. And the whole control room was like, curb, and we all start pointing over to Patrick, our DJ, and Patrick puts the curb song on, and Lexi directs the replay, and you're looking out at people right outside laughing in the game, and it's like, boom, did our job.
My personal favorite crowd reaction is when I played Tetris on the big board during a rain delay last season, and then like 2 kids came up to the window over there at the control room. Were like, "You're really good at Tetris," and it just made the whole day worth it. At that point, it was awesome.
It's a resume.
Maybe we'll get a Tetris day today if we get a rain delay.
We have the walk-up video.
It's true. We can play Dave's walk-up video. Dave was our control room, for lack of a better term, test dummy. I did have a better term there. I just wanted to use that one.
Dummy.
Dave's got
it's an old podcast trick.
Dave's got a sick walk-up video that we'll have to break out someday.
Rain delays are always just trying to find anything to do to keep people entertained. And everyone in the control room spitballing ideas. Yeah. Everyone in the control room spitballing ideas, and then Dave was like, "I'm really good at Tetris."
Well, no, here's what happened. I looked at you and I was like, "Hey, TQ, can I run up some Tetris real quick?" Because I was bored and there was like a 3-hour rain delay going on, and I'm on ScorePad. So I started playing Tetris, and all I hear, I'm the only one like not on comms in the room, and all I hear to my left is TQ going, "Yeah, can we get RF up here to get Dave playing Tetris?"
Yeah. It's the wireless camera on Dave playing Tetris. We weren't doing anything else.
All I'm saying is, if we do have another wedding like we did last year, I am ordained. So you can be married by the scoreboard operator, Dave, because I am ordained.
Why are you ordained?
What? Yeah,
because I officiated my sister's wedding.
Okay, how'd that go?
Awesome, dude. I made her laugh so hard she had to stop the ceremony for a second before the I do's. I was throwing in little jokes because she's like the oldest kid in the family, but she's like 5'1". So during the vows, like the repeat after me or whatever, I was like, "Oh, and may you never be above 5'4". And her fiance like started repeating that during the ceremony. It was great.
Oh wait, so that brings a follow-up question. What does it take to get ordained? What is the qualification?
Not much.
I don't know. My sister signed me up and paid for it, so you have to ask
you
her.
Up. Jeez. Okay.
I have the piece of paper though.
Process?
I have the piece of paper though.
One day I'm gonna get Dave ticked off, and he's gonna marry me in TQ.
I'm just
We're
imagining.
probably gonna cut that whole thing.
I'm just imagining you show up and like you're like, "Oh yeah, we want to get married before the game. Like, it'd be awesome if we could do it the pregame ceremony." We're like, "Yeah, it's great. And actually, we have an ordained minister here too who can marry you." And then they're like, "That's so fantastic." And you walk out and Dave's in like his like JD Martinez, just dingers, like
the burger hat
little
on.
like polo coming up.
It's got to have the burger hat on.
And he's on RF.
It's ready. Don't worry.
And he's on RF filming them.
Yeah, he's on the wireless camera down there. He's like, "Yeah, no, I can do it, but like I just got to get up before the game starts because I got to keep track of all the balls and strikes." It was a Jaren Duran bobblehead night. A lot of people came out for a Wednesday night, and if you're one of those people that were here, you heard a lot of pop punk. Brendan and Lexi, what is up with that?
It was pop punk night. You weren't in the control room.
So unofficially pop punk night. Why?
It was emo night. We're trying to do a bigger emo night.
Well, we had an inside guy. We had Kevin Law over on our on DJing for the night, and he tends to find his music in the same vein as Lexi and I, and we have been petitioning for this for I'd say probably since I got comfortable here about a year and a half ago.
I've been petitioning for a long time for an emo night. The funny thing is, though, I wasn't even directing Kev to do that. I would just hear it through the speakers. And I'd be like, "Oh my God, is this?" And it was great. I was very happy about a woman singing "Boys Like Girls" to her baby. We got on the board and she was just singing to the baby, love drunk. It was great. The fans were into it just as much as we were.
I was on the radio broadcast that game. I ran down to grab a post-game interview for Nesson Plus, and that was the first time I really noticed that all I was hearing was pop punk. And I pulled my phone out and I was like, okay, I've only heard pop punk so far. I've heard like 4 songs. Maybe I'd tell him to tone it back a little bit. And then the ejection happened. I erased my text being like, "Hey, mix in something else." I erased my text and started typing Blink 182, I miss you. He just got ejected. And before I could hit send, it started playing. And that's when I had a light bulb moment where I was like, maybe I've been micromanaging a little bit. Maybe I should just back off and do my own thing.
I mean, I just think those production skills like that can translate over to a lot of different things as long as you're willing to put the effort into it. Great question, Dave.
Thanks, man. I only go to school for journalism.
More than just a producer. Look at that. Speaking of growing up, our baby boy Dave. So proud. Today we have my favorite guest so far. I'm gonna say it right off the front, right off the top of the show. My favorite guest so far is Decaf's haircut. It looks fantastic. No, but in all seriousness, we're joined by Alex Richardson today, who does incredible work.
You know, when you started to introduce the greatest guests that you guys have had, I started to smile, but for some reason, I deep down inside, I knew you were not going to say me. So I knew it, but that is fine.
There's a lot of podcasts left. You can stake that claim. We just got to get there. I got the haircut working today from in Alston. TQ gave me finally the right spot at VIP. My dad said last week the Sunnies looked great. So, Dad, this is for you. I'm bringing them back. I think that I can make this a regular part of my style. I don't know. I might just start working in more Sunnies, more like I don't know, white T-shirts out in here with chains popping out. I might have to get some swag going in Polar Park Productions.
You had one of the earliest viral TikToks that was surrounding the Boston Red Sox that I think anybody really saw. Why don't you walk us through what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I will 100% walk it through. Just graduated Assumption. My close, best friend Phil Gaines, his mother actually got us tickets. Myself, Phil, and I think my buddy Nick went, and we were sitting up on the Sam Adams deck, just having a couple sips. And then it was against the Cleveland Indians. Yeah, it was against Cleveland. And we looked up, and the row, like literally right here, there was a guy who just had and was just collecting all the empty beer plastic cups.
So this is before COVID, by the way.
This is before COVID. This is 2019. No, it might have been. Yeah, I think it was 2019.
Yeah, summer 2019.
Yeah. So then he just was collecting everyone's cups, right? And then he just started to stack them. And then he got to the final two, and then he had the last solo cup. And then I just whip out my phone because I'm like, this thing is massive. This thing is 10 feet by 10 feet. Like I gotta take a video of it. So he goes to put the last cup right on top, and I'm literally angled this way. The stack of cups is right here, and then all of a sudden, I see this guy in the corner of my eye start walking down the aisle in front of me, or right here next to me. So then I turn my camera, I get him. I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be some TMZ stuff right here. All of a sudden, he just walked by holding his own beer and just went.
Oh my!
It's great to see that the base is being recognized on a higher level every year. I know that they were invited as part of pregame ceremonies at Fenway Park a year ago, and that relationship with the Boston Red Sox has continued as a couple Sundays ago, Alex, you actually got to play at Fenway Park with the base. Is that right?
Yeah, we had our base alumni games. So we had alumni from different generations, and we played at Fenway. We played against the current 18U team. It was actually in honor of, one of our teammates that unfortunately passed away about 5-6 years ago during one of the summer times, due to gun violence. But it was really cool to have the photo of him up on the center field video board, and then also all of us coming together, playing the sport that brought us all together. And to do it at Fenway, awesome.
I was going to say, so the base, college scholarship, incredible. molding young athletes into America's greatest sport. Amazing. You're playing at Fenway, man. I mean, this is the greatest organization of all time. This guy is hitting doubles off the wall in right field. I can't believe it. This is. I'm not even playing at Polar Park. You're playing at Fenway. This is amazing.
No, it was cool. It was really cool because going to games, and even if you sit front row, like that's still cool. But then to physically run out to center field or to walk up to the batter's box, which is also a very slippery spot, I found out that day.
The hard way.
I found out the hard way. It really is a cool experience that even just doing it once is memorable. I'll never forget that.
I mean, I don't know how you could. Nothing would have been better than putting one over the monster, but you still shot it out there. You like one hop the wall. You got a face full of dirt immediately after hitting the ball. Was that a lingering back spasm from your battle ball experience, or is that completely unrelated? You're just a clumsy athlete.
Yeah, I as people said, you used to play, baseball. I was like, yeah, I played, about 30 pounds ago. And I don't think my swing adjusted to, my body weight now. So my feet just keep out.
Hey, hit his count.
Why not, Rich? Why not?
Hit his count, kid.
Let's go, Sandoval.
Let's go, kid.
Good shit, Alvin. How you doing your thing? Oh yeah! Come on, baby! Oh yeah! Hey, give us something! Give us something!
His room is ridiculous. You can't even see like an inch of the wall. Like it just has half of it is Polar Park, half of it is like Fenway, the other half is Wrigley, and then the fourth wall is old Pawtucket stuff. And I'm like, Ben, like this. I walk in and I literally look at the wall and I want to pass out because I'm like, this is gross. This is too much.
There's never too much.
And the wild part is this is the person that we trust to literally design the ballpark in terms of the artwork and everything. Don't go to our apartment because if you look at his room, you're like, we are. There's no hope.
Hey,
Janet Marie Smith
totally
would not approve.
No.
When I talked to Jeff Caster 1 hour ago, he let me know that you used to own antique cars that you would lend to like movie producers to use in their processes. Like, what is the life that you have lived? Can you tell us about that?
Just, I got to tell you what, I'm blessed. I'm a guy who started out at, 18 years of age, out of high school, trying to figure out what the heck I was going to do. And I went to tech school when I was in high school. And so I was a draftsman. And when you're a draftsman, you do things like, map making, which led to surveying, which led to me working as a coal miner. And so I was a coal miner in West Virginia as a young kid, and I was a surveyor and a map maker, and went from there to attended Fairmont State College while I was working in the mines. And then I went to Texas, and I ended up starting a consulting engineering business in Texas, did that for a number of years, and ended up moving to New England, met my wife, who is the best thing, clearly hands down, the best thing that's ever happened to me. And great family, great kids, great career when I moved to New England and got into vertical construction. And, it's full circle, all the things that can happen in your life. You ask about the cars. My father had a Mercedes, and I wanted to drive that car worse than anything. And can you imagine a man who has worked hard enough to be able to afford to buy a Mercedes in the 1970s, and your son that's in his early 20s that wants to rip and tear everywhere? Are you going to let that kid drive that Mercedes? Yeah, don't think so. And I can remember asking my dad, I said, could I drive the Mercedes? And he goes, one of these days you'll get your own. So it took a long time to do it, but I bought a Mercedes 300 SD, an 83 model. And I always nicknamed my cars. I had names for the cars, and they were all homage to Beatles. So first one was Sadie, and it was a dark blue one. And then I bought a 240D, which is a smaller car, and that was Prudence. And so I enjoyed the cars. And I think it was my wife that said, hey, in Shelburne Falls, the neighboring town, we lived in Charlemont, they were doing a movie there, and they were had a company called Picture Cars, and they were looking for cars of a certain vintage that Mercedes I had were. So I ended up listing them, and they would rent the cars from me to park and be part of a movie set. And that morphed into, the gregarious Robert who talks to everybody. I'm dropping off a car and saying, where do you want me to park it? And so the first movie I did, I was an extra in, was called Labor Day. And that was Josh Brolin and Kate Winslet was in it.
Yes. You're an extra in that?
In the first 5 minutes.
Are you an IMDb like Dr. Charles is?
I don't think I made that. But the cool part is in the first 5 minutes of the movie, there's a scene where Kate Winslet is driving across the bridge into the town. And she's driving an old green Ford station wagon into town, and crossing the bridge in the opposite direction is me driving the yellow Mercedes 240D. And the people who do pictures, it's fantastic because they they put like a fake license plate on. They even put a fake inspection sticker on, so it looked at the time. And they spray this liquid on your windshield, so the camera won't see through. You can't see me in the seat of the car. And that's probably because they didn't want to break the camera. But anyway, I'm driving toward her. They sprayed this film on that's anti-reflective or something that allows it not to have a sheen on the windshield. So we did that in one take, and I went and parked the car, and I came back, and the director, one of the assistant directors, said to me, she looked at me and she goes, "Can you drive a stick?" And I go, "Yes, I can." She said, "Would you drive that truck?" And I go, "Yes, I would." And it was like an old antique 1960s Townie truck or something. And the thing was belching all kind of fumes out of the engine. And I'm driving the thing and it's stick, and I'm driving it through the thing. And I got out of that one. And then she said, "Great, can you drive that car?" And I go, "Yes, I can." So I ended up driving like 4 cars in the movie. And oh my gosh, that was just fantastic. And then Sadie, my 83 SD, I actually rented that to them for the movie The Judge with Robert Downey Jr. And you talk about a nice guy. He took all the kids in the community and he met them. He signed autographs for them. And, Sarah, who works here, she was there. He signed a picture for her. And my youngest son, he's now 21. He has special needs. He has Down syndrome, and he brought the Iron Man DVD case, and he signed it for him. And wow. Downey was just the best to work with. Kindest.
Did he drive in one of your cars?
No, he drove a different car in it. But you can see the car in the movie on the street. And I actually have a scene in the movie where he's coming into town, like he's been away. He's back in this town where his dad lives and is a famous judge and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, "I can't believe I'm back here." And as you're looking face on to him in the camera, if you look over his right shoulder, I'm getting in a car on the street. I had one scene there. So I don't know.
You're rubbing elbows with the Iron Man. This is more than I expected.
one more movie and I could apply to be a Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah, you missed an electric show with
everyone
with
gets a
Robert
mulligan.
Malone. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
I did not miss it. I listened to the electric episode with Robert Malone. That man is an enigma.
My favorite TQ sidelight hit of all time is still him getting pied. But I think last night we had you on 5 or 6 times. First to talk about baseball, and by I think the 6th inning we were debating the world's greatest candy bar. Dave, what's your take? Because this was hotly debated.
The game got out of hand fast, so we were looking for some stuff to talk about. But Dave, I think if there's anyone at the Worcester Red Sox that I need to know what their top 3 candy bars are, it's David Leonardi.
So, I mean, number one, undebatable Charleston Chew.
What?
I've never had a Charleston Chew in my life.
Are you serious? Are you what? Neither of you have had a Charleston Chew.
I thought that was like a made up candy for like cartoons.
This is Eddie Money. This is Eddie Money right here. Eddie.
Oh, we have to. We'll come. We'll
You got
come
the
back.
coffee
hold
for
on,
me.
hold on, hold on. We'll come back to. I know Eddie can't hear me because I'm in or
Good to be
Dave's
on
wearing
the
headphones.
podcast.
We'll come back to the candy bar. Dave, I need you to talk
get
to
Eddie
Eddie
over
right
here.
now. Get Eddie over here right
Eddie,
now.
get over
Unplug the
here.
headphones. Unplug the headphones so he can hear me. Eddie,
What's up?
we're recapping last night a little bit. We were talking about our candy bar segment on the broadcast, but there is
Yeah.
a much more important segment that happened that is all about Eddie Money. You almost got nailed by
Yeah.
a foul ball that had an exit velo of triple digits.
Yeah.
Walk us through it. Tell us what you were thinking.
So the first thing I thought was obviously tough night to be my 300 millimeter lens. It's got a huge dent now.
Huge dent.
No broken glass, thankfully, and no broken face for me. But I was recording the pitcher, so I wasn't even looking. And the ball didn't even hop, just straight off the bat, hit it right on the top of it, and then bounced right up. And then after that, I was trying to find the ball, and then I looked at the replay later, and Brian Bayo took the ball and chucked it into the crowd as hard as he could.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, the ball is going to try and save that.
Yeah. So line drive in the air on the fly off the camera lens. It went like 20 feet in the air off the lens back onto the field. And Bayo just instantly walked out, grabbed it, tossed it into the stands souvenir.
Yeah.
Eddie, I saw the bounce that ball took, and I got to tell you, in my head, I thought, please tell me that hit Eddie and not the lens.
Yeah, first thing that happened when I
both
got,
are okay.
First thing that happened when I got back upstairs was you go, is the camera okay? Come on. Is the camera good? I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
I can see your face. Nothing's broken. I'm not worried.
So we all found out after when we were watching the replay of it that Jim Kane and Tyler Murray were talking about Glenn Big Baby Davis's first pitch from the night before. And Eddie, you were getting video of the first pitch, and Big Baby really wound up and let it rip and lost his balance a little bit and almost hit you with
almost
his
got
body,
ran over.
like almost ran you over. So Jim and Tyler are saying, oh, and our fantastic videographer Eddie Monaghan, we call him Eddie Money, almost got hit by Big Baby Davis. Next pitch, you get hit with a line drive.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy to hear when I listened back to it. I couldn't believe that, like, right as they were talking about me, almost got hit again. But I think from now on, they got to keep the talking down a little bit with my name in there.
Just you got to go full Will Smith on it. Keep my name out your mouth.
Definitely.
Wow.
Well,
That's
glad
incredible.
you're okay, Eddie. We got footage of it, right? You
Yeah,
kept that
definitely.
clip?
I got it right here.
And
well, thanks for
everyone-
making me a guest. Thanks for making me an impromptu guest.
Thanks for
All right,
coming
Eddie,
in.
back
Thanks
to
for
work.
having thanks for having such a
I'm
great
taking
attitude
my
about
lunch
getting
break.
nailed. Fair enough.
Thank
All
you for
right.
the coffee.
Of course. I'll see you guys.
No straw.
Thanks, Eddie. Oh, come on, Dave.
Yeah.
The kid got you a
What do you guys think of Raisinets? I've heard a lot of hate about Raisinets over the years, and I think they're delectable with popcorn at a movie.
I just can't believe I was given slander for the Charleston Chew, and Decaf says Raisinets and
That's
Rainbow
fair.
Twizzlers.
That's fair. I think I have the right to hate on both of you because
Yeah,
those
let's
are
hear
outrageous
this
number ones.
basic list from TQ.
Stop that. Number 3. Whatchamacallit.
Kit Kat or what?
No, see what I did there? Whatchamacallit. Yeah. Number 3. Whatchamacallit.
Never had one of those either.
Yeah, I never even heard of that.
Delicious. Incredible. Some pretzel in there, I think. Oh my God. It's great. This is a little inside baseball for you listeners. The beauty of live production. I was going over to the Shearwood Diner where Creative Cakes just moved in, and they're selling like chocolate covered Oreos, parfaits, iced coffee, hot coffee. Creative Cakes, which is in the Worcester Public Market, moved a little spot into the Shearwood Diner, and it's awesome. So we were talking about candy for 2 innings. So I was like, you know what? There's not much I can do in the photo pit right now. Let me go over to the diner. I'll bring some candy up to Jim and Tyler because Jim called me out, or Tyler called me out. I can't remember who, and said, like, TQ's not going to share his Twix with either of us. He loves them so much. And I wanted to show I like to think I'm a generous guy. So I wanted to buy him some candy. And I actually don't bring my wallet down to the field when I go down there. So I had to go with my hands behind my back, my tail between my legs, and our staff photographer, Taylor Bolduke. I was like, Taylor, can I have some money, please, to go buy my friend some candy? So, no questions asked. Taylor spotted me some money. I went over to Creative Cakes and got it.
You're listening to WooSox Insider, presented by your Worcester Red Sox.
All right, hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the WooSox Insider podcast.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Do you want to redo that real quick?
Oh my God.
I sniffled. I'm sorry. I sniffled in
All
your
right. We're going to leave that in. I'm telling you
Yes!
as the boss to leave that in. Because
Oh,
I didn't even
dunked
hear the
on.
sniffle. Who
Face on the
cares?
floor.
Who cares?
I thought the mic picked it up. I scratched my nose and sniffled. I thought it picked.
You tested negative. Who cares? You sniffle. People sniffle. There's still pollen going around.
I had allergies 2 days ago, and I was just putting in the heights at ScorePad, and you said, "Okay, sniffles."
Dave, here's a crazy thing. You still have allergies. They just might not be acting up.
Well, welcome to another episode of WooSox Insider Podcast.
Decaf, as you are now, you were the TV broadcast producer then in Pawtucket, 2019. We had country music fireworks coming up soon. And you wrote an ad read to promote it that was using some lyrics from a very popular country song at the time. And just tell us about what happened.
I've sworn to secrecy from Monaco what actually literally transpired, so I won't give the full story away. What I can say is that I admittedly am not the biggest country music fan. I hear it a lot because I work for a baseball team, and so when I was writing the ad read for Country Music Fireworks Night, I was like, what kind of country music joke can I make? What kind of lyrics can I tie into this song? And I ended up writing an ad read with lyrics to a song that had a double meaning that I was completely oblivious to. And thank goodness I had the foresight to, at the very last minute, say, wait, is this something we shouldn't say on TV? And I was like, you know what? Just don't say it. Just keep it simple. We have a fireworks show coming up. And Mike, being the saint that he is, believed in me and my creativity. And he just read the read the way I wrote it. And it's something that we will bury, but we love to remember and think back on fondly. I did not dabble in anything ridiculous for the firework reads for this week. It's country music fireworks. Come on down and celebrate. Giddy up. That's all I got. That's my only country music quip for tonight.
July 4th game, Monday night, fireworks. Be there or be square. Be an L7 weenie. What are you wearing, Dave?
So I got the flannel.
This is great. This is great podcasting. What are you visually wearing for Country Music Firework Night?
So I'm wearing a flannel that shrunk in the dryer because I put it through the dryer instead of hang drying it like a responsible adult. Got the WooSox 4th of July shirt from last year with the American flag on it. You know, patriotic. And later today, when Ben comes in with a cowboy hat for me, I got the jorts.
Oh my God. I was not expecting jorts.
The jorts are going to be put on. They're from my senior year of high school, which is also translates to about 30 pounds ago. So I can put them on. Don't know if I can sit at ScorePad, so I think it's going to be a standing day. But
we had a rule in my high school that when you stood up straight and you put your arms down to your side, the length of your shorts had to go past the length of your fingertip. I can't see your jorts tonight going any lower than mid thigh. I can't be seeing all your legs, all 6'4" of them.
They're just above the knee. Okay, they're not ridiculous, strenuous, but the trunks will be in display. The trunks will be in display.
We'll see. I've been trying to read a couple books recently, but still.
How's that going for you, TQ? How are those books?
It's going all right. So I actually have.
Yeah, how's one fish, two fish, red
fish? Should we do a little book club? Should we do a little
Should we start doing like the Andrew Luck book club?
Books about concrete.
I don't think that would go great. But yeah, Decaf, you'll know how this is going because I started reading it at spring training, but haven't really had the time.
One page a day.
Baseball. Jerry Remy's watching baseball, so I've had a little more time to sideline report, even do some play-by-play on the radio this year. And I think, like all of us, we're just missing Jerry Remy. So I'm reading it, trying to soak in as much as possible. And it's just nice to hear from the Rem dog, even in written word, although we'd all prefer spoken. But miss you, love you too. I'm TQ alongside our lovely, handsome producer. The hair looks great today. I don't know why it just struck me, but it did.
I had the windows
Dylan
down on the ride
McCaffrey.
here.
Oh,
So I got the natural hair dryer going on the highway. Thank you very much.
The summertime hair dryer. Dave Leonardi, just studly as ever. And then joining us once again, Steve Oliveira. Steve, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a shame that it took this long to be invited back, but I won't take it personally.
Our first ever two-time guest.
There's people that haven't had one chance.
Shouldn't be offended. Okay, then never mind. I'm so thankful for this opportunity.
Yeah, and next week we'll be back with Mario. So you got the invite for round 2 before Mario. Yeah.
Well, I'm at least number 1 Oliveira.
Oh my gosh! Could you guys like hold them up to the side of the screen right now?
Wow. Let's see. Can we connect it? Like, which way are you? Are you on this side?
You're on the other side from me, but I love it. It looks great anyway.
Yeah, like that, right? Yeah, we
can actually. Can you pass it? Can you pass it all the way? TQ, go ahead.
Ready?
Put it all the way through. Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Yeah, there you go. Look at that coming together. But
Dave's gonna have a lot of fun with that in editing.
Yeah,
that was worth coming in early for.
Good luck making that work. Yeah, but
is there a Bare Naked Ladies Christmas song, TQ?
There's a Bare Naked Ladies Christmas album, and my favorite Christmas song, Thank You for Asking, is on that album. Surprise, surprise. Huge BNL fan. They've gone platinum 3 times. Anyway, it's called Elf's Lament. And who does it feature? And I think their first publicly released Christmas song, none other than Canada's own, just like BNL, Canada's own Michael Bublé, featured on the song Elf's Lament.
Wow, what a crossover.
It's actually interesting. We're all picking like weird themes for the songs because that one's about the elves in Santa's workshop unionizing.
Just the classics for us, huh? Unbelievable.
Yeah. Wow. And it's a lot about empathy. It says before you wish for what you wish for, make a list for who's been naughty or nice, but consider the price to an elf. Because the elves have to make all your toys. So consider their time,
No one thinks about the elves. No one thinks about the Oompa Loompas. These are the backbone of our economy.
Kirby didn't even like to make toys.
Yeah, he wanted to chase his dreams.
Wanted to be a dentist.
I've got a smorgasbord of stories I can pick from. Kyle was here for this one. So it was earlier in the year and it was kind of still, a lot of our things were still at Fenway. So when we come back from spring training, everything goes to Fenway. And then we have to go to Fenway to pick up all of the Worcester stuff and bring it here. So we have the Penske truck that is owned by the team that we use to go to Fenway when we have a big load of stuff to grab. So Kyle and I went to Fenway one day we took the Penske truck to go load up some weight trunks and player packages and whatever else they had there. And I'd been told since I started in the clubhouse that I kind of look like Ryan Brazier a little bit. I don't personally see it, but
I kind of do now.
If it's a head tilt, maybe you'll see it then. But it was a game day. We were there earlier in the morning, before really any of the players got there. And I'm standing outside the Penske truck waiting for their clubhouse guys to bring some of the stuff out. And I hear this fan behind me and he just starts yelling, "Hey, Brazier! Brazier!" And he's just letting me have it. And he genuinely thought that I was Ryan Brazier. And I was not turning around, didn't give him the time of day. And then one of the clubhouse guys came outside. It was me and Kyle's boss in 2019 and 2020 before he went up to Fenway. Josh, he's a tall redhead with a beard. So he came out carrying a couple packages. Well, now this guy thought he was Jake Diekman. So we've got Brazier and Diekman outside. And this guy is just wearing us out, letting us have it. So I've always, I've told Kyle and I've told my guys, I don't see the Brazier comparison. I don't think that it's real. But after that story, I guess I got to live with it now.
Dave, we're going to need a side-by-side than this.
Yeah. I was saying, I could see it now that you said that.
I think you look a lot more like Brazier than Josh Liebenau looks like Diekman.
Absolutely agree. But this guy, I mean, if we're in the players lot at Fenway, we must be players, right? So he just was like, all right, this guy looks like Diekman, tall redhead, gotta be him.
Are you guys like carrying boxes? Like he thinks that the Red Sox
that's the other thing. Like, we're loading
Yeah.
stuff onto a Penske truck. You really think these players are out there doing that?
You got to move your own stuff.
That's awesome.
Dave, you had one more question?
I think Kyle had one more story. I'll ask that after.
Okay, yeah. So it was with Syracuse. Two of these guys have always, I guess, been the pranksters in the clubhouse, going back and forth between each other. And I didn't realize it. So when I placed the locker, like where they're going to sit in the clubhouse, I put all the pitchers on one side of the room, all the position players on the other side. And then it's kind of just you get what you get, who you're sitting next to. Well, I put these two guys directly next to each other, not knowing. So day one of the guys came in and he came up to me and he was like, hey, like I constantly pull this prank. If he leaves his chair out like in the middle of the walkway, I'll trip over it and then give him some crap after. Can you go up to him and then just be like, hey, can you make sure your chair's pushed in? Someone's going to trip. Someone's going to get hurt. Like, can you handle that? And I was like, yeah, I can 100% do that. So I went up to him. Immediately, he knew who told me to come say this. The next day, the player that pushed his chair out came to my office and he was like, hey, just move put my loop, like the laundry loop with all my clothes, hang up my loop in his locker with all my clothes. So then I'll come in and I take my clothes out of his locker. And I was like, okay, sure, not a problem. So I was literally the middleman of going back and forth, pranking these two guys to prank each other.
Not even the middleman. You're the one doing it.
I was going to say, hold on.
Like, you're the one telling me to do these things, but I'm the middle guy, the middleman.
Here's my alternate perspective. Have you ever thought that maybe both of them were just pranking you by seeing how far you'll go and just do these random things?
Honestly, I've thought of it, but in all honesty, I told one of the guys, I was like, I grew up in a locker room. I grew up around hockey players. Like, hockey players are the biggest pranksters I've ever seen. So, like, I'll go pretty far when it comes to pulling pranks.
There are so many logos. We have so many logos for everything.
There's a logo for
I
every
want to go
single
on
thing we
record
do.
as saying I do prefer when there's one logo.
Yeah.
I'm often in meetings and they'll be like, well, what about both of them? And I'm like, can't we pick one? Like, I'd love if we just picked one. And that
I'm
was the
sitting in front
logo.
of 4 different smiley balls right now.
Yes,
And
yes, you are.
that gets into what my favorite coordinating designs are. And if you ever get to walk around the WooSox front office, every single department, every single person got a custom smiley. My smiley, he's not holding the bat, he's holding the camera. TQ's has got a camera and a microphone. You go around the room, there's sales, has phones, there's different people, different things.
Yeah.
The grounds crew has a bunch of swag with like smiley carrying rakes. Those are my favorite. All the
Yeah.
different smileys, snarly ball.
Those were actually so much fun. I was like, I want my job just to be Smiley, like making him doing different things now and holding different things. And that's just my only job. And I'm just surrounded by Smileys all the time in like various positions.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many smiley ball variations have you made?
Well, if we include the ones that went on our name tags, it's like over 30.
Was it ever just Prince and Princesses? Or was it when the Pirates were a new edition, or am I mistaken? Or is it always Pirates, Prince, and Princesses?
know.
Pirates were a new addition.
Pirates and
this year.
Princesses is, yeah.
Because
But
I remember
Pirates are hot. I don't
I
mean like
mean,
hot. I mean like
Shout
trendy.
out Johnny Depp. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, Pirates are hot.
They've been getting the tarp on like minutes before the rain starts coming down too. The grounds crew's unreal.
We on the Cape Cod game, I wasn't able to be out there. I was in the control room, but I was looking at a bright sky, sun across the field with like shadows cast from the sun, and just pouring rain while it was happening. Worcester continues to just blow my mind with the weather patterns. We're like on the island from Lost. We're just it's unpredictable.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, spoiler alert. You're saying we're in purgatory,
Lost?
right? Yeah, from Lost.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
All
some
right.
listeners aren't fully caught up.
Yeah, what's Lost?
Here's a spoiler for Lost. The last 3 seasons aren't good. There's your spoiler. Stop watching after Charlie dies. Spoiler.
Whoa, that's a big spoiler.
You gotta mute that one out, Dave.
Yeah. People who are living 15 years in the past are going to be upset with you, Decaf.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when the next day when we came into the ballpark, you told me how poetic it was that we were having a little scoreboard malfunction. One of our breakers overheated on the new old line scoreboard that's on the Worcester wall next to the brand new video board. What tell all the listeners and watchers what that sort of poetry was.
I thought it was pretty symbolic that when we had come in and it was about an hour before first pitch, I looked on the line score and I had noticed that at the end of it, the only zero that was working for the hits and errors was the guest hits. So to just see that the guest hits zero being the only thing standing out, and then for everything that happened after that, it was kind of like foreshadowing of what was to come, but none of us knew it.
Wild. We had lights
Magical.
out on the video board except guest hits zero, and that stayed all night. Unbelievable night, magical night, and the offense was unreal too. There was an inning, 3 home runs in 1 inning, and it was fun to be down with Brian and the rest of our content team where they're trying to post the home runs as quickly as possible, and they just keep going one after another. And the second one goes, and Brian's scrambling, trying to get video, trying to get photos for it so he can post. And then as he's finally like catching up, the third one goes, and he stands up and he's running around, and he just looks at me and he goes, "I'm officially overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed." And I thought that was such a hilarious thing to say in the heat of the moment, just the self-awareness to kind of be walking around going, "I'm overwhelmed," is laugh out loud funny to me.
I thought it was pretty cool how not only was last night, a historical night for the team in general.
Thursday night.
Was
This is the only
historical.
time. This is the only time we've pretended to record on actually Monday. And I don't know why. We're usually very transparent about it, but we're going to stick to it. So what happened on Thursday night? All the way back on Thursday night, Dave?
All the way back on Thursday night. Totally wasn't yesterday. Number 3, I think I'll go with The Sandlot for number 3. Iconic movie. Always a good watch. Can't go wrong with The Sandlot. Number 2, I think personally I'll go Rookie of the Year. Another great movie. It was awesome. Was it earlier this year when they had what's his name in the movie? Henry Rowan
Garden
throw out the first pitch at Wrigley Field this year, so that was cool. And my number 1, I have to say, is Major League. I love watching Major League. I probably rewatch that at least twice a year whenever I get bored every now and again. It's a great movie.
Those are all
Gotta watch
solid
the
picks.
sequel.
Those are all solid picks. Decaf.
I go so far to say they're solid. They're basic, Dave. I expected more variety out of you. I wanted to see some deep pull, like the Charlie Brown movie.
Last time I gave some variety, I was called crazy for the Charleston Chew.
That's not variety. That's just ancient.
It's a classic. It is a classic. It's like making fun of the Mona Lisa. Come on now.
Okay, that was just that Charleston Chew is like the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, Decaf, what you got? Let's move. I'm done with Charleston Chews.
And move on.
Yeah, Courtney is a rock star. Like I have never met an individual like Courtney. She has just an artistic eye, and it's so incredible. but seriously, I give her so many crazy ideas, and she's like, I love it. Like, this is fantastic. Let's do this. So really, it's just kind of us giving her the idea, and then from there, she just like does her thing. And I don't ever have to worry about it. Like, I just say, hey, Courtney, can you make Franken smiley today? And she's like, yeah, no problem. Let me throw that out for you.
Franken smiley.
Franken smiley.
More smileys. I want to have like a Bitmoji world where it's all just different smiley balls. It wasn't enough to have Courtney on the podcast. We also had to just spend an entire podcast dedicated to praising her and thanking her for everything.
Exactly. I am Courtney's biggest fan by far.
And she yours.
All of you on this podcast will enjoy this one. I'll give you the image so you can put it up, but we're getting in a jersey hoodie. So it's going to be our Worcester Grays. Yeah, Worcester Grays.
Worcester Grays.
Sleeves. So it's going to look like a jersey, but it's going to have a hood. It's probably one of my favorite pieces that 47 is going to have us do for this upcoming.
My credit card bill is going to hate me. That's going to be great.
Yes.
No, the bill collector will love you. Your credit score,
yeah.
if you don't pay on time, that's going to take a hit.
Oh, I pay on time. My father makes sure of it.
But Kat, thank you so much, not just for jumping on the podcast today on a game day, just for everything, for being you, for being creative and fun, and just a joy to work with all this time. I'm glad that all of us got to cross paths so much when you and Courtney come up with these ideas, and Brooke Cooper, and we get to design how we're going to release it with a photo, video, press release, all that stuff. It's been so much fun, and good luck going back home with the Chiefs and Royals.
Thank you. Thank you.
Best of luck to you, Kat. I'll never forget seeing you walk out in the Cinderella dress on Prince and Princess's Day. This person is willing to do anything for her team, and the Chiefs and Royals are very lucky to have you.
Other duties as assigned.
Dave, do you want to say anything nice?
Thank you, Kat. I know we didn't get much chance to really like work together, but thank you for the extra work polos that I needed when I was on RF and I was wearing my Bob's Burger shirt. That really came in clutch. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I was at that as a fan last year, the craft beer and food truck event.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so great. And the amount of people that take their shoes and socks off and walk around the outfield grass is blasphemous. I can't say I didn't do it myself, but it's crazy how many people just want to get the grass between their toes, I guess. And that's a testament to Elliot Lindstrom.
Yeah, can't blame him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's plush, it's gorgeous, and it's a fun time.
Yeah, it is. That event is another one too, that when I feel like if I was somebody, just a normal average Joe going to an event like that, in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, just order a crap ton of beer and stick the trucks out there and like open the gates. You don't need to do a whole lot more than that, right? Wrong. Obviously, it's a lot more planning than that. But one of the biggest challenges we had last year is our the left field gate where our field access is just a little too short for my liking. So every year for that event, we pay somebody a whole bunch of money to come in, unscrew and unwind the garage door system that goes there so that we can get 6 extra inches of clearance so that the food trucks can actually fit onto the field. So that was a fun one to discover last year, but we were like, oh, easy peasy, we'll just drive them all on. And we were wrong. Luckily, we found that out in advance, but that's one of those things that you never know what kind of stuff goes into it when you're not actually in the middle of the chaos.
For those listening, I was actually I think 18 minutes late to this podcast because Alex Richardson was asking me to make the signs for what is being auctioned off, and there's some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
New England Revolution signed ball.
Yes.
Russo Italian
Shout out to
restaurant
my friend
gift
Ian.
card.
Mm-hmm. I got Ian help me out with that one.
2022 bobblehead collection.
Yes.
Is one of the favorites. So fans, if you are upset that you missed a bobblehead giveaway on a Give a Wednesday here at Polar Park when the team is at home, maybe you just need to find a way into the WooSox golf tournament. You can get every bobblehead that year. It won't matter.
Exactly.
But-
Show up with some cash and I'm not going to turn you down. We're at the Haven Country Club in West Boylston.
Show up, turn the car around right now. We know you're heading to work listening to this. Turn around, see us at the Haven.
One of 3 guys to get called up, but yeah, one of 2 to hit their first MLB homer in the last couple of weeks. Sorry for jumping on you, Dave. You deliver it. You deliver the news for people who've been living under a rock.
Tristan Casas sitting with his PCI in the top inside corner of the strike zone, cranks his first MLB home run against the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa Bay in the Little League park they call Tropicana Field. It was great to see.
95-mile-an-hour fastball up and in under the hands, turned it and burned it. And I feel like we have to talk about that White Sox fan and all Rays gear that everyone's saying looked like Ryan Brazier's long lost cousin. that was a trip. That was a trip. Dave, initial thoughts on that guy, and I want to hear what you would do or what you would ask for if you ever caught somebody's first major league home run.
I thought it was like it's obviously bad because it's it's Casas' first home run ball. Give him the ball. But I couldn't help but just to laugh at just the sheer honesty he had when they were telling, like, he was, I don't know if he demanded or they offered him like all these autograph stuff and everything else. And he just went on to just be like, I don't know who these guys are. And then what was it? Jemai in the interview was like, do you know the guy who hit it? Like the home run? And he was like, no, I have no idea. I just want some stuff. And like, honestly, the only thing I applaud is just the sheer honesty of it. The dude's just like, I'm just here for some stuff.
Yeah, the story is amazing. That the only reason he was looking down was because he was in a balancing act between his phone and some chicken wings, and he dropped his phone. So then he bent down to pick it up and just heard everyone screaming, and the ball just landed. Like it just went right to him. And when you add that on top of completely decked out in Rays gear, not a Rays fan at all. Jerseys are expensive. I don't know who was on the back of that jersey, but jerseys are expensive.
So we stopped at the Tri-City Valley Cats ballpark, who was the former single A affiliate of the Houston Astros. And when you walk into the ballpark, the main gate is probably it's like right behind home plate. And I looked at my dad and I was like, oh, this is easily foul ball territory. I can easily get a ball here. No more than 30 seconds after that, I hear a crack at the bat and a ball comes up and over the netting and starts bouncing along the main concourse, right? I go running after it. We just bought me new shoes the day before. I slide on the concrete, put a hole in them. Totally worth it, right? But I'm 17 and I grab the ball and I kind of look around and I notice there's 12 10-year-olds that were running after the ball with me, and I was the one that dove and got it.
Yep.
So I stand up and I hold up the ball expecting people to be like, yeah. And instead, just a plethora of dads just give the ball to a kid, give the ball to a kid. Tunnel vision. Walked right up to my dad, gave me a high five, and we sat, got some pizza, got some waters because I was 17. Sit down, watch the game.
That's too old. You
I have
give the ball to a kid.
I have the ball still. It's on the mantle in my living room, and it looks beautiful there.
Dave, come on, man. Have you not learned anything working here? You got to give the ball to a kid.
There was more. Yeah, there was more opportunities here. Hey, those kids had gloves. I didn't. Got to be more aware than that. Keep your head on a swivel. Come on.
They're children, Dave.
Yeah, and so was I. I was 17. That's a legal child.
You were a grown adult. You were a grown adult. Dave, our last Give a Wednesday of the year, our last bobblehead of the year. Is this your favorite bobblehead?
It's got to be, because it's not just a bobblehead.
It's a bobble body, baby.
Exactly.
It is. It is going to be in my nightmares. Dave, you pointed out before we started too, the only thing that's not exactly accurate to the smiley ball that roams around Polar Park on any given game day is he is standing on a pair of tree trunks down here. Look at those things.
Saquon Barkley is jealous of Smiley Ball.
The calves and thighs on Smiley. Also, look at the feet. He has to be like a size 15.
Oh my lord.
Yeah. So Smiley Ball.
Shaquille O'Neal has some competition.
You could not, I don't care how much of a running start you get and how much mass you have. Full head of steam running into this Smiley bobblehead. You're not knocking him over.
All right, guys. What a year it's been. We're getting through this last homestand here. Getting through it, I mean, because we're trying to make it as great as possible for all of our fans. We have Fan Appreciation Week this week. We're giving away over 6,000 different gifts during this week, and we're doing it without Dave. Dave Leonardi abandoned us to take classes at Endicott. When we play these games without our scorekeeper, there's no one knows. Is it a ball? Is it a strike? We don't know. Dave's at college.
I'll be back though. I'll be back. Well, but by the time it comes out, I would have already been back. But as of right now, today, Thursday, I will be there Friday to Sunday. So if you were at the park Friday to Sunday, I was the one keeping score and keeping all the numbers and data safe.
And we appreciate you for
anything's
that.
wrong on the scoreboard, like it's Dave's fault.
Yeah,
so everyone knows now.
Just Friday to Sunday though. Before that, don't come to me.
After the last homestand, I picked up everything in my life. I drove across this great, beautiful nation. It turns out the earth is flat. I learned a lot on my road trip. But I made it all the way. Manifest destiny. I survived the Oregon Trail. I did not die of dysentery. The Grand Canyon was incredible. I recommend that. That took another day because it's 7 hours up to the Grand Canyon and then another 7 hours to Los Angeles, where I moved into my new apartment. I'm very excited for this new chapter in my life. I'm very grateful to all the people that have wished me luck and supported me and been there all the way. My parents, I couldn't have done this without the permission from them because it would have. I know it upsets my family and friends to see me go, but I know they're also happy for me. The people that I could not disappoint were my mom and dad. It took a long time to get them on board with this, and so I want to say thank you to my mom and dad who watch these episodes every week, for allowing me to do this and not disowning me. I promise I'll come back someday.
You're already back.
I'm back. I'm already back. I was out there for 1 week and I came back because I couldn't miss the series finale for the WooSox. But yeah, it's been a great year. A lot of great memories.
We're excited for you, but also the beauty of modern day technology is we can still FaceTime you and catch up and everything like that. But you'll physically be pretty far, but you won't be too far from the heart and mind.
And hey, there's no big green tractors in LA.
Jeez, man, no. Thankfully for me and Mike Monaco, there's no big green tractors. But before I say my favorite moment of the last 4 years, I want to hear Dave, not WooSox 22, TQ, not WooSox 22. Dave, the last 5 years, TQ, the last 4 years, whatever it's been. Best moment to wrap up 33 episodes of a great podcast that will continue after I'm gone. We'll just look a little different.
Dave?
You're going to have to go first. I got to think for a sec.
No.
That's not the rules. You just said Dave.
I said Dave.
No.
Dave, I've established myself as the host of this podcast this episode. I know I missed the last couple of weeks, but I'm the one who introduced the episode. So now I'm introducing you to give your moment first.
Was it dressing as Mega Smiley? Is it
honestly
PA announcer Dave on Friday night?
I'd have to say my favorite day was probably the last game of this season. The last shift I worked probably was my favorite day in the past 5 years because that was the first time both of my parents, that was the first time both of my parents came to work as fans. And I got the Yes Award down on the field, and my dad took this video, and I can hear the two of them cheering and stuff like that. And I don't know. When I was a little kid, my dad was the one that taught me to score baseball games at McCoy at the age of like 8 years old. And before the game, I got to bring him up into the control room and actually show them what I do, for a change. The only time they really saw what I did was when I was a cashier back at McCoy in like 2018, 2019. So it was kind of moments like that on that last day where it all was just kind of became full circle. And just kind of made the last 5.5 years worth it. Was those 10 minutes I was on the field for pregame with my dad and my mom watching.
I'm gonna cry. That was so sweet.
Yeah, that was so sweet. That was so sweet. That was very, very nice. I'm also decaf. I'm glad you brought it up. Dave did his normal job of scoring every game, which is like he's on from first pitch until the end of the game. For those listening, like he doesn't stop just going. And then he was also the PA announcer because the PA mic is right next to him, and Ben DeCastro couldn't make it for some prior obligations. So on top of his already busy job, he was a PA announcer, and he was unbelievable.
It was a lot of fun. I'd do it again.
10 out of 10 would recommend. Decaf, do you want to go?
I will go. And I want to squeeze in before I say this because I know we're running out of time. Last week, I thanked my parents for supporting me through this whole process of moving to California. And I want to thank them again because they're the best. Someone I have to thank for my entire experience at this job is my uncle, Jack Campisi. He bought me the book that I tore the pages of these posters out on the wall behind me. He bought me just about every piece of Red Sox paraphernalia in this room. He bought me every Red Sox ticket I ever got going up, took me to every game. He's the reason I love the Red Sox. He's the reason I love the Dolphins, which I can't thank him as much for. But he's the reason I love sports and television. And I got to thank you, Uncle Jack, for shooting me into this line of work. And I've been trying to make you proud the whole time. And I hope I did. I'll see you later today. Anyway, favorite moment was, and still is my favorite moment from Pawtucket. After the last game of the season, running out of the outfield, diving out there, doing snow angels in the rain with Alex Richardson. Favorite moment this year, ironically, also came post final out of the season. I was sitting in a golf cart with Tim Quintadamo. We were like between the 10th and 11th hole or something. A John Mayer song was playing. We were talking about some issue, some problem from the season. And then one of us said something along the lines of, "It's not our problem anymore." And then we both let out a deep exhale and about a minute of silence, just looking at the course. Cars are piling up behind us. We're not teeing off. We just sat there in complete understanding, knowing what we just took on, knowing the battle and the war we just fought and won. And there was nothing that needed to be said. It was just a minute of John Mayer sitting in silence and just complete understanding and peace and serenity. And I still feel that way. It's a good feeling.
That's your favorite 4 years.
I think honestly, like it just like I felt so much in that moment. I don't know if you were just like thinking about what you're gonna have for lunch, but like I was sitting there thinking, exhaling, just like I've never let out a deeper, more meaningful exhale than that moment.
No, it was a beautiful moment. There's something to be said about a comfortable silence too, when you're in good company. That's just nice. And it was a picture perfect day. It was high 60s, slight breeze. We're up at Kettlebrook Country Club in Paxton, which was gorgeous. And it was just a good time. It was just
all right. You got 4 minutes on this ticking clock.
Yeah. So my favorite moment, I think, was Friday afternoon of the last homestand. Now, since weekday games started at 6:45 this year, for all you listeners or watchers, that meant Nesson was still going to take our games at 6:30. So we needed 15 minutes of content every Monday if we had one, the rare Monday home games, but every Tuesday through Friday, 15 minutes of content. A lot of people, would make a prepackaged something and kind of just repurpose it throughout the year. Not us, like Decaf said. We had original content every single home game. We weren't recycling anything. things. We would have a tease every now and then to an interview, but new content every single pregame. And a lot of times it was Cooper and myself going over what happened on the last road trip, what happened the last night, setting up the game and some of the promotions that are going on around the ballpark, community events that are being held. And sometimes it was just Cooper doing an interview with the player, a little walk and talk. Sometimes it was just me doing like an interview with Alex Spear or Manny Del Carmen or Ian Kundal, Chris Hatfield, Rob Bradford. I think that might actually be all of the interviews I did, which would be pretty cool if I remembered that. It's gonna go right to my head. But my favorite moment, the last pregame show we had, I got to sit out on the berm with Cooper, Tyler Murray, Jim Kane, Derek Willen stage directing, Decaf in my ear up in the control room directing the show. And it was all of the people that I've learned so much from as far as broadcasting, and that I got to build on these stories that were happening throughout the season, and we got to work together to tell the story of these players, these coaches, these games that were being held. And we just went over our favorite sort of broadcast moments of the year. And I got to do a real deep cut because the fans are awesome. Maybe we can splice that in here, but the fans getting on John Nagowski was awesome. It was very Worcester, just jeering this guy who played for the Rochester Red Wings that possibly no one had ever heard of before. And it was a lot of fun. It was a blast. And it was just great being with and working with all these people that helped me out so much. So that was my favorite.
That's touching. I hated those pregame shows, but I'm so glad that you liked them and the fans liked them, and that was what it was all about. So I loved them, and yeah.
There were a lot of words, but we have less than a minute is what Zoom is telling me. I think we need to re-up our subscription, but we haven't done so yet. EBW Classic, Saturday, October 8th. Tickets still available, polarpark.com. Decaf, that is a series wrap on Dylan McCaffrey, everybody. Give him a round of applause. Our lead producer. Love you, bud. Last words before it gets cut off. It might get cut off.
Part of the journey is the end.
That's WooSox Productions, baby. Don't you ever forget it.